function between fuel putting your as a so you have known the equation primarily also to use as we have discussed in the previous class. So directly we will go to a problem. So please write down the problem. Follow equal cascade problem. Please write down the problem. And follow cylindrical cascade problem.
Okay, is my screen visible?
Cylindrical cascade problem.
Sir,
Okay, okay.
Follow cylindrical cascade problem.
Okay, in the last class we are discussing about we are discussing about some of the components of customer relation management, and also we had looked about SCM, that is supply chain management. So these topics were then covered, and we looked at some of the challenges faced during customer relation management. So these all we have covered. Next, we are going to look about some of the challenges that are involved with ERP implementation. So, what is basically it is some of the challenges faced or some of the disadvantages that we are facing while making ERP. So, first one is project management. So we know that under ERP, we are compiling a combination of various data, right? So a huge volume of data is being collected at a particular location. So if there is a particular project or for a particular project, you are collecting that data and you have to set that project aside or set that project during a particular period of time, or we'll be creating a span of time, maybe a month, maybe a period of 3 months, or maybe a period of 6 months. Okay, so such is the time period given. So under that time period, what all operations has to be done, and what all are the methods or the procedures involved during that project. Okay, these are some of the terms used or some of the things that we have to do during project management. And for all these purposes, data are required. So a huge volume of data, even for a single project, is collected, and then they are sorted to each and every operation. So various operations or phases involved in project management are planning, design, development, data migration, testing, deployment, support, and post-launch updates. So post-launch updates involve before the time period. So it is a date that is before the time period. Maybe the during the span of 3 months, maybe during the 2.5 months, a period of review or a period of post-launch updates. Okay, in terms of rocket launch and all, they will do a post-launch. So they will test the vehicle for various failures or various scenarios they will include in that testing phase, and they are checking if any failure might occur in that device. Such a things are coming under that particular project. So first is this discovery and planning. Obviously, we have to plan what type of project is being done and what are the phases that are involved. Then we have to design that said project or the said product or said regarding all the components related to that project. Then comes the development of that particular products. So we are developing the products, and data migration. Data migration is done with inter-department. So there will be a department which handles design, then another department that involves with the development of it, then comes prototyping and testing. So these are all various departments, right? So we have to migrate the data, or we have to transfer the data from one department to other. That is what is known as data migration. Then obviously testing of the device or the prototype, and finally we are deploying it. Then supports, we are providing supports and post launch updates based on the customer feedback or based on the failures that is being occurred during the prototype testing. So these are all employed, and then finally the product is deployed. So these all comes even before the uh, production of prototype, or even before the manufacturing process or manufacturing process, production cycle itself, we are managing the product. So managing such a tedious managing such data or forecasting in such a manner will always have one of the challenge during ERP implementation. So it is also, we are also using ERP for project management, right? So if you are including various optimized procedures for each and every operations, then that is known as ERP, or it is known as enterprise resource planning, right? We are planning that one. So if you are including, if you are doing a planning of the project itself, it is called as project management, which is a subset of ERP, or it is a subset during ERP implementation. And due to the huge volume of data, obviously the ERP implementation has challenges. Okay, that is the first problem. Next comes under the project management itself, the main challenge that occurs is project planning. So, what is the under project planning? Planning always includes time. Okay, we will be giving a span of 3 months. We'll include in planning. So if you're forecasting such a plan, so we'll be having some planned operations. So we'll be planning for a duration of this much hours, we'll be doing this operation. Then during the next time, we'll be doing the other operation. Okay, that is some of the span of time we are mentioning, but it need not be the perfect time. So the work may not be completed during that time, or it can be completed earlier that time. Okay, that is the difference there. So always the time that is fixed during project management or project planning will be a forecast. Obviously, there will be changes, and it can affect the planning operation. And since planning also is involved under ERP implementation, project planning becomes a challenge during ERP implementation. So the second one was project planning. Next is data integration. So we have already discussed about integration of data in ERP. So how did we integrate data in the ERP? We are integrating data by means of using internet. Okay, we are connecting all the systems to a central system or a central hub, and the data flow or the data that are observed in each and every departments is then collected under that particular system or a particular hub. Okay, so that is data integration. So even that integration, a rough collection of that data was nothing but data warehousing. We have discussed earlier about data warehousing, and data warehousing is a storage location or the location in which all the data are compiled, hence the term warehouse. Okay, so due to the data integration techniques or apps that are present inside the company or under the each and every system, data are being received to a central hub, and these data are integrated at a storage location that is known as data warehouse. So we have already discussed one of the major flaws of data integration was nothing but the compilation of data, right? So when you are compiling these data, sorting these data, huge amount of data is a tedious task. Okay, so for that purpose, data integration is becoming a challenge under ERP, because all the data integrated in ERP, compilation will be proven very difficult. Okay, so also another problem is that during data migration, so we have already discussed about data migration, and during data migration, interdepartmental data can be received by each department, but they don't have to make any sense. Okay, that data will be proven not that much effective. They might or may not understand the data they are receiving. Okay, also due to the, if there is no synchronicity between each department, also data integration proves challenging. Hence, data integration becomes a challenge in ERP implementation. Okay. Next one is data quality. So we always know that under ERP we are compiling data. So what is data quality? Quality of the data is nothing but it is defined as the accuracy and precision of the data that is being collected. Okay, I have mentioned earlier, if the data that we are entering or a particular worker is entering changes, or he accidentally enters a different data or a wrong information into the system, if there is no rectifying apps or rectifying softwares in that particular system, or any correcting methods is not present, that data is then being thereby stored in the data warehouse. So such a storing method will always term difficulty. So once we are recalling that data, that particular incorrect data, when we are recalling and we are using it for sufficient project models or sufficient for forecasting models and all, we are designing with it, then there will be very big changes, right? There will be incorrect forecast will be occurring, and very big changes may occur with the real time and projected or predicted forecast. Okay, there will be differences there, and this is due to the data quality. And the quality, this occurred because of the quality of the data. It was not the perfect data, and this can happen not only a single individual but also many individuals. It can happen, and numerous incorrect data may result in more changes under the predicted forecast. So these are all some of the disadvantages while combining the data. So data quality becomes a challenge during ERP implementation also. So the entered data, if you have to check it which is the right or wrong, you have to always have supporting apps or supporting checking machines or checking softwares installed in the computer or in the extranet or the intranet. Okay, in such a way that it can obtain or it can reduce the errors that is occurring in the data and ensure the data quality. So that is another challenge that is faced during ERP implementation. Next one is change management. Basically, change in management. So what is change management or change in management? It is nothing but the management is responsible for the ERP compilation, right? So we have already discussed about the myths of surrounding ERP. So in one of the myths, we have already discussed that it is always useful for the executives, right? So executives are the higher level people that are present under the company, and they are responsible for the managing of the under employees. Okay, the underworking people. So always the industry is beneficial for such executives, or for the industry or the manager or the CEO itself. Okay, so it is only beneficial for them. ERP is beneficial for them because ERP provides more profits, and that profits can be earned as salaries for such said individuals. Okay, so once if there is a change in management, because it's a management operation, ERP is being followed in that company. Once there is a change in management, so we have already seen, right? You have heard of a company known as OnePlus, right? So OnePlus has been after some time its rights were given to MI, right? Xiaomi, MI, you have all heard, right? So they have taken that company. So they are merging both, and the primary leadership comes to MI. Okay, so what happens there? There came a change in management. So the management completely differs from the main company. Okay, so the primary company becomes other company, and there is a change in management. So their way of doing the ERP will be different from that sister branch or by the other company. So the MI's way of doing ERP implementation will be different from OnePlus. Okay, that is the difference there. So same thing comes here. So once there is a change in management, different ERP procedures may be present. Okay, and it might or might not be present in the other department or during that period of the previous management. So it may not be there. So if it is not there, then obviously it will become a challenge, because ERP implementation is itself is a tedious task. So if there is a change in management occurring, various operations that are carried out or various ways of the ERP implementation will be different, and this will be proven challenging for implementing an ERP commonly for both the management. Okay, so that is also another challenges that is involved during ERP implementation. Next one is cost overruns. ERP is always expensive due to the compilation of the data. Due to after the compilation, you have to sort the data. After sorting it, we have to implement in the company, and after implementing, you have to optimize it, then upgrade it. So it is a continuous process, and it takes years to implement it, right? So obviously, it is an expensive process, and the expenses are resulted by all this. We had to implement various systems there. We had to connect all these systems by means of LAN. Then we have to have a central hub, and the central hub must have a huge storage location. So these are some of the expense incurred factors. Okay, hence there is always cost incurred during ERP implementation, and hence the overhead cost will be higher. So that is another challenge of ERP implementation. Then last one is continuous improvement. So once ERP is implemented in the company, it does not mean it has to stay on like that. Okay, there may be a technological update coming, or in another company, another way of doing the operations, or another optimized method is being kept there. So if such a method is there, we have to also employ it or implement it in our ERP system. So if you can only implement it, then you can get an optimized system and incur more profits. So we are improving that system, right? We are upgrading it, upgrading it, upgrading it. So that is a continuous improvement process. So if it is not implemented at first, okay, if during maybe 50 percentage of the ERP implementation is being done. Okay, after doing that, there is a sudden increase or a sudden upgrade was found in sister department or a sister company. So if you are seeing such a thing, then we have to implement that also into our ERP system, right? So if it is only a 50% is being done, once implementing this can change completely or can affect the ERP implementation drastically, and this is also challenging. Okay, that becomes a challenge during ERP implementation. So these are some of the challenges that are involved in ERP implementation. Basically, 7 types of challenges under ERP implementation. Next one is emerging trends in ERP. So some of the common trends that are occurring in ERP are given here. There are about eight types of trends. So we'll look at each and every one of them. First one is cloud. So we have already during this pandemic condition, we have already known about the uh, cloud storage, right? So it is a technology that is used for the storage of data. Okay, by through online mode, maybe in an internet, and so storage location is provided, a website is provided, and we can store such data there. So it is a cloud, right? And this is an old technology, but it is still being used. We have known various cloud storage things. We have used it in our mobile itself by the company storage cloud may be present, or you have other storages in sites like Google and all. We'll be having clouds, right? So these are all storage technologies or a warehousing, a type of data warehousing that we can use for storing of data. Okay, and these are implemented in medium type businesses because the storage location is limited. We can't have unlimited storage locations, and the cloud storage is limited to a particular size. Hence, medium businesses are employing cloud system for storage of data or cloud system for data warehousing. So this is one of the trend that is involved in ERP. Next one is machine learning and artificial intelligence. So we have already discussed earlier about artificial intelligence, and under ERP, artificial intelligence was nothing but using of a repetitive task, or we are involving various processes during automation by means of artificial intelligence. So the machine itself thinks about the work and finds an optimized way for running that particular operation. This further helps the employee or human labor from making any errors during that planning process. So artificial intelligence is very important. So these are being used in bigger enterprises. This helps in finding out patterns that are that we cannot find out, and that patterns once found out can be implemented into the ERP. And always the patterns they will be occurring will be in a optimized manner, so that that particular ERP will be optimized. Okay, that is the main function of implementing on machine learning or artificial intelligence. So they will obtain the pattern, and then they will find out and optimize the method, and then that method is then kept in that uh, kept in that ERP system. Similarly, data can also be sorted by means of artificial intelligence or machine learning. So, repetitive patterns I have already mentioned. Similarly, the repetitive task or repetitive words that are connected with the operations can also be compiled together, or that data can be sorted together instead of a person itself doing all these data. So data, variety of data may be there, and each and everything can be used to compile the data by means of artificial intelligence. And also artificial intelligence played a very important big role during customer relation management that we have already discussed, wherein a chatbot or a AI will be responsible for providing solutions for particular operations or particular problems depending upon the repetitive demand from the customer. So that was how these all are how the artificial intelligence plays a role in ERP implementation. So this is also a current trend under ERP implementation to reduce the task done by the engineer or the analyst that is involved under ERP planning. So that is artificial intelligence. Next comes mobility. So mobility is the transfer of data from one place to other. Okay, earlier we were using data transferring by means of hand in hand transfer, right? One person will be writing the said information at one point, and it is transported to other point by means of some work personnel, and that operation is then reaching that department, and everyone has to do that work. Okay, it is being divided and the work is being done. That is the earlier method. Then came the fax method, where we will be faxing it by means of a fax pager machine, and from that we are transferring it. These are all the upgrade of technology. By upgrade of technology, when in nowadays we were using internet, right? Internet facilities, etc., for data sharing. Even we can use mobile for data sharing, right? You can capture a photo and send it through WhatsApp or Telegram. Many softwares are there, right? So this is what is known as mobility. Okay, mobility of data at a faster rate or an easier rate is occurred. So you can see here, mobile-based solutions are you employed or implemented in ERP itself for data compilation, data transfer, etc. Okay, and that mobility field or that various operations under using of recent technologies is coming under mobility. So however fast we can reach the data to a particular department, that much we can uh, obtain the data faster. Okay, these are coming under mobility. Next comes big data analytics. So what is big data analytics? So you can see a figure here itself. various departments are present at a multiple place, and the data is being transferred to a central hub. Okay, this was our data warehousing procedure or the data collection compilation procedure. Data, so the big data that is being obtained at that particular system then has to be analyzed, right? So for this analytic purposes and all, so many complex data may be there, maybe simple of data, real-time data. So real-time data, if you are collecting real-time data, huge volumes of data will be there. So it depends. Okay, if you are collecting data for each 5 seconds, think of how many data it will be there during an hour. Okay, so such will be the quantity of the data. So depending upon the type, that is real-time data, it is mentioned as real-time data which is collected during a particular interval of time. Okay, so depending upon that interval, the volume of data that is compiled will be higher. That is why it is called big data. Okay, and you have to analyze this data, and analysis of this data by a single individual or a single personal or a single department itself is tedious and hard. Okay, and for that purpose, if you are using an artificial intelligence system or a pattern recognition system or a cloud-based system, such and such, if you are using, they can sort the data or they can perform the necessary operations depending upon the data that we are receiving. Okay, that is how big data analytics are being used. So also the central computer that is present here will be a powerful computer with the highest specs, more storage location, etc. Okay, and it can run operations at a faster rate. Okay, that operations once run, however faster the data is being sorted, that much faster we can implement ERP. So ERP, the problem of implementing ERP is because of the time it takes to implement, right? So once if the data is being sorted and compiled and it is it is implemented into that ERP system, then we can obviously implement the complete ERP system to the whole industry. Okay, so that is what is done under big data analytics. Okay. Next comes digital marketing. So during this pandemic situation itself, all the companies has been shut down, right? And everything were done in online mode. So e-business went on to have a uh, bigger stage during that COVID situations. Okay, so one of the main thing that was concerned or that took place during that e-business time was digital marketing. So we were doing every type of transaction that was involved during a business through online mode. That is why it is known as e-business, right? So marketing, in the sense, marketing comes during the final packaging of the product and then the delivery. Between that, we have to market it or send out ads or send out campaigns to promote the product so as the customer can obtain it, right? And these promotions were done in online mode. Okay, online mode under digital market. That is why it is known as digital marketing. We are done in online mode. Okay, and that is done by some products. Maybe suppose if there are some child products, okay, child products such as toys or child care products. So they are targeted to mothers. Okay, they are targeted to mothers so that they can buy that product and use it for their babies. Okay, that is how they are targeting. So specific audiences are targeted for marketing campaigns to be started so that they can promote the product and the people can buy that product. Okay, these are involved during digital marketing. Okay, that is one of the current trend under ERP. Then comes personalized ERP. Okay, this is another trend that is being used in ERP. So earlier mentioned ERPs, I have already explained that ERP is proven difficult when it is being done under a single system. So if you are storing the data in a single system and then we have to analyze all that data and For each and every department, the engineer or the analyst has to create various procedures or various steps to ensure ERP under every department. So that is a tedious work. A single individual doing all the work for optimizing the procedure. Okay, so this proves difficult. So if you are personalizing the ERP, so what is personalizing mean? Personalizing is nothing but that department or that particular individual in that respective department itself is creating an optimized procedure or an optimized enterprise resource planning. Then a common ERP planning can be avoided, and the work or the time required for implementing an ERP will be further reduced. Okay, that is the advantage of using personalized ERP. So a single individual or that at a single department itself, we are doing an ERP. So there will be planning of that one, designing of the product, development, etc. will be done under one department only. So if you are running an ERP in such a manner, it is known as personalized ERP, and this reduces the time and the cost incurred during the ERP implementation. And every department can easily fit their own ERP in that particular department. Since this is a current trend under ERP planning system. Okay. Next one is customer oriented. So we have already discussed earlier about digital marketing, wherein they will target better audience. Okay, targeting people. So in the same way, a customer oriented ERP is also targeting the better audience or targeting the better customer. So they have to always have customer, or they must have that customer order to incur more profits, right? Hence it is called customer oriented. So if they have to obtain such a demand, they must always target the customer they require. So uh, so a person under a fashion sense will be a customer that will be involved in clothing and wears, right? So they will be involved in such a manner. So that is the target audience for that particular field. So we are orienting the customer under marketing advertisement, and they will make decisions. The company will make decisions based on the customer demand or the customer objectives that they are stating. So this can only be obtained when you are targeting that particular customer. So even if you are developing a prototype product and in the beta version, we are sending to the said customer, a target customer, and only they will be giving the feedback. Okay, so that customer will be related to that particular field. So that is what is coming under ERP, customer oriented. And the last one is Internet of Things. So Internet of Things is nothing but we are using the all above said process, that is artificial intelligence, machine learning, etc., and collaborating it into the internet, collaborating it with the internet process that will support the automated cross device or helps in automating the ERP system under the industry. So these are some of the trends in ERP. So I'll wind up the class today.